confidence in him, that's where you want to place your bet. Sure, by all means. I am not. The tail of the tape don't lie. Boom! Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm giving my fight between Richardson Hitchins and Oscar Duarte. Now, this fight has a few variables I want to mention before I give my ultimate prediction, right? I want to start off with Oscar Duarte, right? He's been training with Robert Garcia, and I think he's actually improved as a fighter. I think he's a different fighter than the one that fought Ryan Garcia, and I honestly think that he was doing pretty solid in that fight with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia just has that mean left hook, and it saved him a few times in his career, and I'll be honest, I think it saved him in that fight. But with that being said, I think his last fight will help him, but it's also a good measuring stick to determine who wins this fight. Oscar Duarte's fight against Kenneth Smith, I think, was a good insight on what strategy he's going to use. Not that he has many strategies, because he's a pressure fighter and he knows his strength. My man is strong and he's heavy-handed. But I also think that Kenneth Smith is as close as you can get to Richardson Hitchins. Kenneth Smith is that right there. I think they have a very similar style of fighting, similar stance, similar strategy. If there was one major difference, right? If there was one major difference between Kenneth Smith and Richardson Hitchins, is that Kenneth Smith is okay fighting on the inside, and I think Richardson Hitchins tries to stay on the outside and will only be on the inside if he knows he's going to tee off on you. Hence what he was doing with George Kambosos Jr. Now, Oscar Duarte is fighting a better version of Kenneth Smith right here. Richardson Hitchins should be the favorite in this fight. I can't see Oscar Duarte really winning a lot of rounds early on. Maybe as the fight goes on, he can squeeze a few rounds, but here's what's going to be the strategy for Oscar Duarte is he's going to come forward, right? And he's going to be losing, right? In my opinion, he's going to be losing these rounds, but he's going to have sporadic moments. When those sporadic moments start, that's when the fight will get interesting. I don't think he's going to start having those sporadic moments right away. I think it's going to be 6-7 rounds before Hitchins loses like a small step to where Oscar Duarte can take advantage and start having those sporadic moments. And if you're an Oscar Duarte fan, you're banking on those sporadic moments. You're banking, hey, he's not as tough as Kenneth Smith, and Oscar Duarte is going to take advantage of those sporadic moments. If you have high confidence in him, that's where you want to place your bet. Sure, by all means. I'm not. The tail of the tape don't lie. Richardson Hitchins is a good fighter in a basic one, but he does those basics very well. And I think he fought a superior fighter in Leon Paro and beat him. So I know he's on that level. Oscar Duarte, I'm not too sure just yet. If he could beat Richardson Hitchins, sure. But I don't think that's happening. I got Richardson Hitchins. Now, I do want to add, right? Richardson Hitchins likes to stay on the outside. You know, he like I said, he was basic. He'll use that 1-2 the whole time. Boom, boom, get out. Boom, boom, get out. You know, throw some combos in there when Oscar Duarte is focusing too much or get hit in the head. You know, he'll throw those body shots in there, and he can keep that up for a while. And I think that's how this fight's gonna go. Do I think Oscar Duarte is gonna have certain moments where he wins the round because he has those good sporadic moments? Yes, I think he'll do that for a couple rounds. Maybe 2-4 at max is what I'm banking, right? My pick for this fight, Richardson Hitchins by a boring first half, potentially a little bit more excited second half. I do think he's going to be able to take the onslaught. I think he's going to be able to slow down Oscar Duarte enough to where he could get that unanimous decision. I don't know what's going to happen after this, but I do know that based off watching his fight with Kenneth Smith, a fight that was very close, and Kenneth Smith had some really good moments in that fight. I can't give the nod to Oscar Duarte. I have to go with Richardson Hitchins by decision. I don't think he's knocking him out. I know he knocked out George Kambosos Jr., but Oscar Duarte is a completely different ball game than Kambosos Jr. I think he's a big junior middleweight. He should be fighting at welterweight, and his strength is what's going to carry him to the end of the bell, guys. That's my decision. Richardson Hitchins by unanimous decision in a not easy fight, but clear fight. Decision victory. That's my video, guys. Until the next one, boom, I'm out.